Hi, this is Lorena from Jidone Library. Today I'm going to show you how to make a t-shirt mask. I'm going to be using a mask that we had from one of our summer reading programs. And it is going to be a no-sew or very little sew. And so I've made the mask like this, and you can also make them out of the sleeve. I cut one of the sleeves off. That's the first thing I want to do. I want to lay my t-shirt out, and then I'm going to cut the sleeve off of the t-shirt, and I'm going to go on the sleeve side of the seam. And I'm going to cut that off there. I'm going to set those aside to make masks with those later. Now what I want to do, I want to measure 8 inches high and 17 inches long. So you need to decide what you want the center of your mask to be. So if I want mask in the center of my, I need to center that design in there. So I'm going to measure 8 inches, and you don't have to have one of these rulers. You can use a regular ruler if you have. And I'm going to mark those. So I've got 8 inches marked here. I'm going to kind of estimate where I was on there and mark 8 inches over here. Pen's not working. And then I'm going to measure my 17 inches. So you kind of want the center. So I'm going to kind of center that and mark my 17 inches. Let me grab a different pen right here. Okay. So now I'm going to take and draw my lines. And it doesn't have to be perfect. So I'll do my lines here. I'll do my 8 inches. Need to make sure. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start from the side, and I'm going to cut my t-shirt that way because I want to save as much of the t-shirt as I can. I'm cutting through both layers because this is going to be one mask and the back side will be another mask. No, I did that wrong. I need to measure. I marked the wrong line here, so don't do that. Luckily, I hadn't cut it yet. So I have pieces for 2 masks right here. Now I'm going to take the other part and I'm going to cut the bottom seam off. Now I'm going to measure again. I'm going to do my 8 inches up. line. And then I'm going to do 17 inches. It doesn't matter, you can go all the way over to the side on this because it's all white. So I'm going to put a line there. And then I'm going to cut this out. Remember, try not to go up further because you're going to need that for another part of your mask. So now I have 2 more pieces for masks. So there's 4. I'm going to cut this strip off here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut down the length of the t-shirt here. I'm going to go about 3/4 of an inch, and I'm going to cut all the way down. You can measure them out if you want, but you are going to need 2 for each mask. So this first one, I'll cut the sides of the shirt. And now I have my 2 pieces. So I'm going to stretch them out, and they're going to kind of curl up on me. But that's what you want it to. So I'm going to take my first mask, and I'm going to lay it down, face down in front of me. I'm going to tie a knot in the ends of one side of the strings. And then I'm going to decide where I want my mask to end. So on here, I've got "un" right here. So I'm going to cover that. I'm going to fold that one over. And then on the other side, I want to come over where the exclamation mark is, and I'm going to fold that over. I'm going to pull it down a little bit. This is your no-sew mask. It's a little more difficult to put on. You got to kind of hold it together, put it on your head, and then you're going to grab your strings and you're going to tighten it around. As you tighten it around, and you can kind of adjust it the way you want it. I kind of didn't like that. It was a little kind of a pain. So I still folded it over about where I wanted it. And then I got my sewing machine. And you can sew this together on the inside. That way it stays. You might want some pins to do that. So I'm just going to pin that down. The only thing with doing this, as you're sewing it, you want to make sure you don't get the back side sewn in with the front side. So I'm going to open it up and put it in my sewing machine. I'm going to put my needle down, and then I'm going to start the sewing. Sorry. And then you want to reverse a little to knot it. Try not to run over your pins so you don't break a needle. I'm going to put my hand inside here and kind of hold it so I don't get the other side in it. And I got to keep checking it. got my thread here so it will go. Keep adjusting it so you don't get that caught. And reverse it, and then I'm going to take it out of here. Looks like I did get it caught. Let's see here. Just going to trim that a little. It got caught in just a tiny bit. And you don't have to sew them together, but I think it's kind of easier to do your mask without having pieces kind of falling all over the place. So now what I have is just kind of like a little tube here, but I've got mask in the center there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pin the sides so they're flat. If you didn't have a design, you could take an iron and do some of this, but with the design, sometimes you don't want to because it could melt it. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with the other side. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sew about 1/4 of an inch from the edge on each side, leaving the ends open. It's going to make like a little tube in there. I'm going to do that on both sides. So I got one side done, now I'm doing the other side. So I have my little tubes on the sides, and I'm going to take my strips of t-shirt I have here, and I've got a little safety pin. This makes it so much easier, just a little tiny one. Put on the end and pin that in. And I'm going to go to my mask. Actually, I'm going to go this side. I'm going to put the safety pin in there, and you've got to kind of work your pin through there and bring this tube around it and work that all the way down to the other end. Takes just a minute here. I like using these t-shirt strips because they're stretchy and they're pretty easy to work with. And I like the t-shirt mask because it's kind of soft and stretchy and easy to work with. So I've got one there. You want your knot to be on the top side because it's going to sit on your head. And then Let's do the other one real quick. You can do the same trick if you have sweats and the string has come out of them. You can put a safety pin on it and work it through to do the same thing. So take the safety pin off, pull the straps down just a little. So now this is so much easier than trying to hold it all together. You put this part over your head, and then you take these and tighten them and tie them around the back, and there's your little sew mask. You didn't have to have much sewing on that. Now I didn't want to waste the sleeves, so let's grab one of those real quick here. So what I did is I took my sleeve and I opened it up so it's kind of folded this way now, where your seam is right here. Kind of fold it over again a little. I'm just gonna kind of just take a little bit more off and just kind of round it out a little bit. I'm not even gonna pin these, but I am gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna sew along the edge here about 1/4 of an inch on each side. And then you'll do the same thing with your strings. You'll do the safety pin, put them through there, and you're done. And this one is one of the sleeve masks. So you can use that and you'll have 6 masks out of 1 t-shirt. And that's it.